You ever scroll on Twitter and thought to yourself, when you come across a post like this that gives you some sort of ad format that's crushing, that your internal team can recreate this, or you can recreate this with your own ads in your own ad account? What if you actually could in under 30 seconds? Let me explain. So you'll see that most people, when they click on a tweet like this, they just bookmark it, right? And it goes into this, this abyss of just saved ideas and saved stuff that you never get to act on. But I think the most critical thing about Twitter is the ability to get cutting edge information and strategies before the mass populace, only if you can act on it, right? That's the critical thing, is how can you act on an insight, on a strategy that is shared with you, with your own brand. So I'm going to show you an example of how we've kind of found an interesting use case with our customers at Creative Launch, and how we've seen brands order from tweets using our software. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of how it works. I'm going to show you some examples of brands that have done it, so you can see what their order look like, what their final videos look like. And then I also want to show you some really good people to follow on Twitter for inspiration to kind of stay on the cutting edge of things that are working, as long as you can act on it very quickly. So here we go. How to order from tweets using Creative Launch. First of all, what is Creative Launch? Creative Launch is the easiest way for marketing teams to test new messaging, unlock new audiences, and get winning ads quicker without doing any of the work themselves. So let me explain. Typically, with the way that our platform has worked is we would update and curate top performing ads from brands like Hexclad, Oats Overnight, Supply, BYLT Basics, Cuts Clothing, Loop Earplug, Speechify, Gymshark, you name it. We constantly curate and update this list and enable brands to be able to replicate them one-to-one using the content that they already have. Now, an interesting edge case that started happening was, as soon as we created this ability for brands to share the reference right here, we started noticing that brands not only are sharing a reference, they're sharing tweets, ones like this, where they will copy it, they'll paste it, they'll say what they liked about it. For instance, they like the script of the video, they like the style of the edit, they like the music, maybe the captions used, maybe they have some particular thing saying, and again, this will depend on the brand, but focus on the person, on the story of the person gifting the product, right? And just by doing that, they've effectively communicated what they want, how they want it to look, and then they just throw it on us to then, I can quickly go through it. Next step, right? They just pick who they want to reach. Let's say it's Apple Watch users with skin sensitivity issues, and they just wanted to mention that it's a perfect fit with a 30-day money-back guarantee, and it's comfortable for any wrist size. Boom. That's it. That's the order. Done. And what we started finding is, this process of how are people ordering? They actually are getting better results, spending less time thinking about what to order, and are spending more time doing the research themselves, which is the thing that a founder, a brand owner, a marketer should be doing, is gathering intel from things outside of your awareness. And that's the beauty of Twitter. So here's the workflow that we've found that people are doing. They're scrolling, sharing, and submitting. So scrolling, kind of showed you that earlier, right? I have a community list called Marketing E-commerce, and it has a bunch of people that I've kind of added in there. People that are in the e-commerce direct-to-consumer space. And, it's rather than scrolling on a home feed, which is just constantly full of negativity and random stuff all the time, I prefer to just have a curated feed, and you can update and remove people as you want. But that's step one, is you want to scroll, right? And when you scroll and you find something that you like, then you save it, right? You can copy it. Most people, what they'll do is they'll probably just add it to the bookmark and then they'll forget about it. But what you could do is, if this is interesting to you to test, and you have, as a brand owner, you have some sort of intuition of what you think will work, just copy the link, right? And then that's the share part, and then submit it. So we can go back here, and that's your submit right there, right? And then the submit is like, if, obviously this video has a particular nuance here of like who it's targeting and, the message that it is. And this is obviously a single take video, but maybe you want it to be a multiple take video. Or when I say multiple take, like a mashup compilation of different videos put together. Just to keep it super, super broad, you scroll, you save, and then you share. And that's it. You submit, and it's done. We handle the research, the editing, strategizing, copywriting, and your job is just to source inspiration or strategies that are interesting to your brand, because you know what you've tried and you know what you haven't tried. And the only reason you haven't been able to do them before is simply a bandwidth issue. So now if you no longer have a bandwidth issue of execution, you can test whatever you want, whenever you want, as quick as you want. And you don't have to write a brief, you don't have to do any of the editing, CapCut or Premiere Pro, and you don't have to find, source, or manage any of the creative talent. That's basically what we've seen people doing now, and it's been a very interesting outcome, and I'll show you now a couple examples. So you can see like a before and after. In this first example, I want to show you an ad ordered by a brand called Plufl. They sell a huggable body pillow. And the founder, who's the one placing the orders and using our platform, he saw a tweet from an account from Alex Cooper, who's kind of a well-known person in the e-commerce space with ad creatives. And he saw this whole tweet saying, this ad is crushing it, and this is working very well. Obviously, community liked it as well. And what the founder of Plufl did is they obviously, and you can see there's a ton of demand because of the bookmarks here. But I can bet you that of the people that bookmarked, maybe one or two, maybe none actually have built and recreated this themselves. They just copy and think they're going to come back for it, but they're not going to come back for it. So this person, what they did was they copied the link, right? And they placed an order. And then they made one comment, like I'll show you what the order looked like. But the comment they made was they liked how the video starts with an authentic reaction to how good the product is. And it feels authentic and organic with minimal editing, right? If we watch this video really quickly, it's a single story with like a TikTok style text that shows product zoom in with call outs to the product. And then obviously it's a product in action with like a call out there. So minimal editing, simple editing, things like that. They wanted, I'll actually recreate the order. So basically what they did was they went from Twitter to here. They copied this tweet inside of there. They like the script and the editing style. When they say they like the script, what the person ordering implies is they like the narrative structure. They like how the creator or how the creator was positioned is speaking to their ideal audience. The way that the cuts are, the way that the specific USPs are, the key messaging is in there. That's what this person liked, along with the style of editing, right? And that's the note they left. Then they just quickly went in, and then obviously they have a single SKU, and then they want to do their evergreen offer. They wanted to target people that are hot sleepers and night sweaters, and they wanted full body support system with adjustable and conforming shape that also relieves back, hip, and shoulder pain. That's what we're going to build a script around. And the way we're going to build that, right? Obviously, the person that's building this brief, the user of the platform, is not specifying like what they want said in there. That's up to our strategist, right? That's the entire ordering process for a tweet. What did you like about the tweet? I like the script and the editing style. What else did you like about it? I liked how it was authentic. Who do you want to target? Hot sleepers and night sweaters. And then what do you want to say to them? Now we go in, and that's where I was mentioning we handle the research, editing, strategizing, and copywriting. We go through their entire content library to find a clip that looks most comparable to the one that was in the original tweet. And then we're going to edit in a way where it's most similar to the tweet, but oriented towards cold sleepers or hot sweaters, cold sleepers, things like that. Here's what the final outcome was, and I'll show the before and after, right? Obviously, I'll scrub through it. Single person talking, single story, ends with a call to action. We did 5 versions, and each version, if you look at real quickly, there's different hook personas. So I go after these hot sleepers and night sweaters. That's the core audience we want to go after. So I'll play the video.
Like, I'm throwing all my other pillows away. This is unreal.
Notice how the caption's the same. Single character right now.
You're lying. How big this thing is. And it's insanely comfy. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just a better feeling. And it's honestly cold. Like, it's like almost like it's cooling. I just want to fall asleep because this is so comfortable. This was easily the best decision of my entire life. Like, I do not want to get out of bed now.
So this original clip, I'm not going to pull it up right now, but it was originally like a longer form video, maybe 1.5, 2 minutes long. And the way that it was positioned was it just rambled. This edit mimics what was requested. It mimics a strategy of what worked, right? Different text styles, no soundtrack, combination of scripted, unscripted, and then A-roll and B-roll. We replicated that. The client didn't even have to specify that, but we followed the instructions in the tweet, and we got that outcome. So that was an example of the Plufl one. For the second example, I want to show you an order placed by a brand called SolaceBands. And they saw this tweet by someone named Shackelford. So if you're in the space, you probably know and are familiar with that name. He did a tweet saying you're going to see a lot of people putting small cracks in their lines in the ads. The engagement is wild, right? The last post I showed you had approximately 175 bookmarks. This has 653, a ton of engagement. But if you think about like how many people are actually going to do this, again, this maybe 1% or 0.1%. No, not many people are going to do this. 1 to 5 will actually execute in a strategy because you have to create this effect. Well, the order that was placed with SolaceBands, all they said was, they saw the tweet and they said, remake one of our better performing ads with this crack screen idea as a twist on it. They went in, we have access to the ad account, they linked their 5 top ads, and then they referenced this video URL, right? They said they liked the editing style, they liked the graphic elements. That's a note that I just showed you. They put that in there. this again, they wrote in 30 seconds, click 2 buttons. Then they said they want to continue to target their end users who are people with skin sensitivity. That's like the key messaging, which doesn't really matter because what we're doing is we're recreating, it's almost like an iteration. And honestly, like at that point, they submit it, and that's the order. You literally see a tweet, you go from tweet to order in under a minute. It's that easy. And this was a final video I'll show you right here. Obviously, like these are their top 5 performing ads in their account, and they wanted us to apply this effect and kind of make it feel native. And again, from my screen, this looks, I don't know how you see it, but it looks incredibly realistic. Like there's a cut. The client didn't have to tell us how long they wanted to be. Like we copied this exact same thing, we recreated it, right? There was no texture pack available, we had to make it ourselves, but we had the reference. The next version.
I rock like pebble, jumping sheet, you hear this beat.
Next one.
One product I wish I knew about sooner. The way I would pay.
Because I thought you shouldn't.
So that was it. From the client side, you get an idea. You instead of like making a tweet, you just submit the tweet, right? And then we execute on that without, once again, no briefs, no editing, or no management of talent. You just click 3 buttons. What did you like about it? Why'd you like it? And that's it. So that's been an interesting edge case with a lot of the brands that we've been working with. In fact, I think it's a very good use case because oftentimes, again, Twitter is on the cutting edge of strategies, and it's on the cutting edge of ideas that are shared. And the one that is the quickest to execute on those ideas is the one that is going to win at the end of the day. So I put together a list of some people in the space that generally have and consistently have very good ideas that typically do work for the people that do them. So I'll link them right here. You might be familiar with some of them. Others, like, you know, I would suggest to make kind of like a list like this, right? And you have these names in there and you just scroll through and you start seeing a timeline of what they're posting. Or you can just go through their Twitter feeds. Like, you know, we can go through real quick. And you go to this person named Matt Epstein. And you can see like there'll be some videos that they shared. We just scroll a little bit. There's an ad that they're sharing. We want to look for an example of something to take inspiration from, right? Like here. You want to recreate that one? That's totally fine, right?
10 years
You like that caption style, you like this graphic element, you like the storytelling. You just say what you liked about it, and then since we have access to the content library, we can then recreate that. That's the premise of what Creative Launch does and how we help brands. So if you want to give it a try, check out creativelaunch.io/demo or follow me for more, and I will continue to share some interesting ways that people are quickly iterating and quickly scaling and getting more out of what they already have. So have a great day.